Jana, thank you. The massive water main break affecting Springfield and several surrounding communities has now led Mayor Dominic Sarno of Springfield to declare a state of emergency.
A boil water order remains in effect for people in Springfield and Ludlow. And we have team coverage tonight, beginning with Western Mass News reporter Daniel Santiago with the latest. Daniel?
Chris, Abby, we learned the latest on the situation this morning from city leaders and the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission. I also spoke with restaurant owners in Springfield to see how they're handling the boiled water order that's currently in effect.
I have declared a state of emergency.
Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno discussing the seriousness of the massive 36-inch water main break in East Springfield that continues to impact those in Springfield and Ludlow on Wednesday. An official emergency declaration puts the area in line for potential emergency funding from the state. Meanwhile, crews from the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission continue to work on fixing the problem.
We're running specific models to look at different scenarios, but folks should not be experiencing any pressure loss at this point in time. Customers may be experiencing cloudy water or discolored water, and that is a result of the fact that when you rush 10 million gallons through the system so rapidly, it has a tendency to scour the pipe.
As a result of the main water break and as a measure of precaution, city officials put a boiled water order in place requiring Springfield residents, businesses, restaurants, and others to boil water for at least 1 minute before using it for any type of consumption to ensure that there is no risk of contamination.
I make sure because the coffee comes out boiled already. But the pasta, we boil the water, obviously.
Western Mass News visited some restaurants across Springfield, and while some were operating as normal, others were closed for the day. We found Palazzo Cafe open, with owner Luisa Carderopoli telling us business has been slow and customers concerned.
A lot of people are afraid. They're asking questions about the water, and so it's not a good thing at all for not just me, for everybody else. Especially the elderly people, they're very afraid of it.
Like Carderopoli, Jose Vieras, the owner of Sol Caribe, is staying open, but following every guideline set in place by the city. We bought bottled water, we're boiling the water we're using to cook, and that's all. A thorough process that ensures safety for loyal customers like Jeremy Powers.
They're always conscientious of food safety, so I feel very comfortable being here.
The boiled water order will remain in place at least until tomorrow morning after they get the results from an 18-hour incubation period from tests done yesterday. Reporting live in Springfield, Daniel Santiago, Western Mass News.